I'm Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Duran.
Welcome to an awesome new episode of VO Buzz Weekly.
Absolutely awesome it is indeed. And we have entertainment genius Butch Hartman on the show. You guys, your brain's going to explode. You're going to hear so much great information.
Yeah, and he's just one of those people that can do everything. Write, direct, produce, animate, illustrate.
Some of your favorite animation shows out there. I say we get right down to it.
I'm with you. We're going. Hey guys, our guest is a gifted producer, director, writer, illustrator, and animator who has created some of your favorite shows like on Nickelodeon, The Fairly Oddparents, T.U.F.F Puppy, and Danny Phantom. He is also the creator of the Nou Network, the Noog Network and app. We're going to talk about that and so much more. We're not letting him leave ever. So it's time to get buzzed with the super talented Butch Hartman.
Yeah, baby.
Hey, guys.
Put it there, man.
Nice to meet you.
Oh,
hey,
Thanks for
nice
having
to
me in.
see
I
you.
appreciate it,
Oh my gosh,
guys.
we're so excited.
You got the check I sent you, right?
We have the check.
And it cleared.
Yes.
Good.
So
Great.
for those that don't know, if you really want to be on VO Buzz Weekly, you have to send us money.
Go to the donate
All right?
tab.
And then you can be on the show too, like Butch.
I've been saving for this. Who's president now? A long
Listen,
time.
the bottom line is we wanted to wait till your career kind of took off.
Oh, thank you.
And things seem to be working out for you. So we
Yeah, you know, I mean, you
Well,
just hit a big mark like last week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you stay in your room for years, locked in there with very little food, and just drawing constantly. Someone's bound to notice. So that's what I've been trying to do.
that's
Persistence.
so
We're a
great.
fan of persistence.
Persistence pays off.
Yes.
Right?
Well, listen, man.
But on a real note.
on a real note, we have a bunch of stuff to talk to you about. So we want to go back. Our viewers always learn so much when they hear personal stories that of tribulations and obstacles and how it all began for you and where you are today and what helped you get there. So can you take us back to you grew up in Michigan, right?
Yep.
So take us back to when you were a kid and the things that you did, and then what brought you to Los Angeles and going to school out here at Cal Arts, right?
Yeah, Cal Arts, yeah.
And all that stuff.
You know, it's okay. Well, it's a bit of a long answer. I'll try and condense it if I can.
No, don't.
Give us the
time.
1 minute version. I'm not kidding. I'm kidding.
Well,
kidding. No, I'm kidding.
One word per year.
I am from Michigan, and I loved cartoons all my life. You know, and back when I was a kid, all you had were 3 channels on the TV. You had to get up and change the channel. But we had to get up out of our seats and change the channel. I know.
Exercise.
Exactly. And Saturday morning cartoons were the big thing. You'd get up on Saturday morning and put you'd have your jammies on. You'd get the big bowl of Tricks. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
Tricks or Lucky Charms or whatever.
Nice.
And then you'd sit there for hours watching TV. That was really the only time you could watch cartoons. And so I would just live for that day, Saturday. And then when fall rolled around, they had the Saturday sneak peek. On Friday night, they'd kind of sneak peek what was going to be shown on Saturday. So that was exciting for me. Anyway, I really wanted to be an artist, but I didn't really know how to go about it. So I would just draw all the time in my room. And I would sit and watch the Flintstones, or I'd watch Bugs Bunny, and I would sit and draw them as fast as I could, because you couldn't really freeze the TV back then.
Yeah, that's right. We had
People have no concept what it's like to not.
These are like crazy people are out there going, what?
You couldn't control every moment of the television.
Did you have a color TV?
No, I had black and white, and then we had a color.
Wow.
That was a big day in the Hartman house when the color TV showed up. That was
That was
huge.
actually a joke. I was expecting you to say, of course we had color.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's like, wait, Fred Flintstone has black hair. Oh my God, yeah. But I would sit and watch and draw them as fast as I could, and eventually it was kind of weird. I had a good friend named Tim, who I grew up with, who liked to draw. And Tim's brother, an older brother, he was a ventriloquist. It's a very weird story, stick with me.
Okay.
He was a ventriloquist, and he had his ventriloquist dummies made by this other guy in another town. The other guy had a son who was really into Disney animation. So I met, through that ventriloquist guy, I met this son who loved Disney animation. He was about a year older than me. And through him, I met another guy named Dan Jupe, who's an artist in the industry. Bob Scott was the first guy, Dan Jupe's the second guy. And through Dan Jupe, he was 2 years older than me. He was going to a school called Cal Arts in California.
Right.
And in Michigan, when you're a kid like I was, someone says California, it seems so untouchable. Oh my
Right,
gosh.
another world.
So Dan was this amazing artist, and he went to Cal Arts. And what I would do is send my drawings to Dan. For 2 years, I sent him drawings, and he would coach me through mail, through snail mail. I'd send him drawings, he'd critique them. And so anyway, through Dan's guidance and stuff, I was able to learn how to create a portfolio that Cal Arts would accept.
Wow.
Got accepted to Cal Arts, came out here when I was 18 years old, right out of high school. I graduated high school, came out to California, and went to Cal Arts for 3 years. And I was gonna do my 4th year, but I couldn't afford it. But I got a job working for Don Bluth on American Tail as an in-betweener. And I started working. Everyone out there seen American Tail? Yeah. And I got a job as an in-betweener. got that job, and then there were really no other jobs in the industry in the 80s. Everything was based on toys, like My Little Pony or Worldwide, the World Wrestling Federation, and all this stuff. Everything was based on a product. And very hard to find jobs, but I was able to find a job working at Ruby Spears Productions. They made the Punky Brewster show, and they made Fang Face, a show like that, maybe, and they actually made the Police Academy cartoon show, if you can believe that, years ago. Anyway, but I learned through that process, I learned how to create presentation work and how to actually pitch shows and think of them. And then I got a job at Hanna-Barbera, and then Fred Seibert was running Hanna-Barbera at the time, and he asked if anybody had some short cartoon ideas. And this is in the early 90s, so I teamed up with a couple guys, pitched some ideas. They didn't really go anywhere, but I got to know Fred really well. Fred left, went to Nickelodeon, said, hey, do you have any ideas over here? Do you have any ideas you could bring to me? And I said, well, I'm kind of loyal. I was working on the Johnny Bravo show at the time with a guy named Seth MacFarlane. Anybody heard of him? Seth MacFarlane?
Wait,
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to go anywhere.
Fast food chains, right?
Something like that,
Something
yeah.
like that, yeah.
I don't think he's got any talent. Anyway, so Seth and I were working on Johnny Bravo, and Seth and I both got fired. They didn't want us on the show anymore. I know.
God.
They fired us both.
That's so great.
Yeah, and so at the same time, I was coming up with a little show called The Fairly Oddparents at the time, and Seth came up with a show.
That's another dud, too.
Yeah, I don't
another
really know. I don't know.
Today is sarcastic day.
Maybe
opposite day. Yeah.
But so I came up with Fairly Oddparents, and Seth came up with this little show called Family Guy.
Oh, yes.
And we both sold both shows at the same time, and he
That's
said,
crazy.
yeah, and he goes,
Butch.
hey, you want to come work for me? And I was like, and we were like really good friends. I mean, we still are friends. I haven't seen him for so long, but he goes, you want to come work for me? I said, oh, why don't you come work for me? And then I had just sold a show, and he sold his show, so we kind of parted ways, and I got married and had kids, and he became a billionaire. So we don't, really run in
That's
circles
some
anymore.
crazy water that you guys were drinking over there.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. So we ended up doing that, and I sold Fairly Oddparents to Nickelodeon, and then through the success of that, I was able to create Danny Phantom, and then T.U.F.F Puppy, and then just a ton of other pilots that I've pitched and things.
And you've been at Nickelodeon, what, like 17 years?
About 18 years
18
now.
years, yeah.
Yeah. And Fairly Oddparents has been going strong for 15 years, and we're going to celebrate our 15th anniversary next year. But we've been running since 2001. Steadily. I've never stopped making the show since we started. It's really a blessing.
That's
That is
fantastic, man.
kind of in this world, in
Yeah,
this
that's
time,
right.
kind of an unprecedented
very
thing.
And
rare.
didn't you tell us earlier that
Yeah,
there's
a
like a
little.
new character that you're introducing or something like that?
Yeah, by the time this airs, we will have introduced this new character.
Let's hear. Who's the character?
The character is, we're just starting our season 10, which is exciting.
Congratulations.
Woo,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Amazing.
I appreciate that.
Double
really cool.
digits, that's...
Absolutely.
We made it double digits.
Yeah, that
but-
deserves a cake or something.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. And did I get a cake? I got nothing.
It's
No, I
coming.
didn't.
Yeah. Oh, we
Now that
got
your
a
check
cake
is
for you.
cleared,
Oh,
you
not
can
from
buy
you.
the cake.
Yeah,
Hey,
what's
hey,
the-
Danny, get a cake.
Sorry. But no, season 10, and we're introducing a brand new character. We thought it'd be fun to have Timmy have, not really a nemesis, but someone he's got to deal with all the time.
Nice.
Someone who's his friend, but someone who's a little bit opposite of Timmy. So we're introducing this brand new girl character. And she's a girl, she gets fairy godparents too. And Timmy's all excited, like, oh, that's cool. But there's a fairy shortage. So he has to share his fairies with this new girl. And her name is Chloe. Her name is Chloe Carmichael. And
love it.
Chloe
I
Carmichael.
love
And
that.
Chloe is 10 years old. She's Timmy's age. But where Timmy wants to make wishes for himself all the time, Chloe wants to make wishes for everybody else. And so that can also prove very disastrous
Yes.
Yes.
too. That's where the comedy comes, So it's
Oh
like,
my
yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
that sounds like it's a lot of fun to write that character.
It's very fun. And so, like one of our first episodes is, I wish everybody would share everything, and that's like a horrible nightmare. So, but it's really fun. She's a great character. She's a little quirky. She gets so excited that she just can't hold it in, and she just freaks out, and she's a lot of fun.
Wow.
Is she based on someone in your life or someone that you knew?
I think every character I do is kind of an amalgam of everybody I know. Chloe is actually named after my niece. I have a niece named Chloe, and so, but she spells her name with a K. Chloe Carmichael's with a C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's turned out to be a great character so far. She's really fun to write, adding a lot of new comedy and new twists to the show.
And
It's
who
really fun.
voices
Oh, that's awesome.
this new character?
The character's voiced by, drum roll, voice actress you've probably had on the show, or Kari Wahlgren. You know Kari Wahlgren?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Kari's awesome.
Kari.
Congratulations,
Kari.
Does she know that she's the voice of the character?
No, she doesn't. Kari,
She doesn't
congratulations.
know, but she does now.
This just in.
Oh, this is
That's
great,
exciting.
man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kari's a blast. So Kari does a great thing. Kari is way more talented than I thought she was. I knew she was talented. We brought her in, and she can just really do anything.
Yeah.
That's cool.
She really fits in great with Tara Strong, who would kill me if I didn't mention her, Timmy Turner. And Darren Norris, of course, who does Cosmo, and Suzanne Blakesley, who does Wanda. Carlos Alazraki, who does Mr. Crocker. And Eric Bauza, who does Foop.
Yes.
And we have Rob Paulson, who does Mark Chang.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a
Mark.
great cast, man.
It's a blast. It's
you gotta have. I know
really
it's
enjoy
gotta
it.
be a blast.
Oh, and Gray Delisle, who does
Yeah.
Vicky, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's beautiful.
Oh my gosh,
Gray?
Gray.
Griffin now, sorry.
Yes,
Grey
Grey
Griffin.
Griffin. So, you are a brilliant storyteller. There's just no
thank
question.
you.
No one disputed because I'm right.
He didn't
Very-
know that before today, but
yes,
now
you
he
are.
does.
Oh, thank you.
Hashtag I'm right. Your writing and your strong characters. I mean, without great writing and strong characters, the show concept can be great, but you need that, to be in the fulcrum of it. So you mentioned earlier the inspiration for your work. Have you always? I mean, how do you keep going back and finding more creativity and juices? I mean, how do you keep yourself inspired? And
Wow, that's very interesting. That's a good question. I mean, it's again.
would you like to answer it or not?
No, it's fine answering it. No, it's a question. There's no simple answer, but I'll try and make it
Yeah.
simple. Again, like the first answer that took 2 hours.
No, that was actually a very short
It
answer.
was.
Oh,
we
good.
were
Yeah,
hunkered
we've
down.
had
We
some
thought we were
that
going to have
went
a
on for
lot.
40 minutes for just
geez.
one
Yeah.
question,
and
which we
then,
don't want to do today.
And then the color red.
Yeah.
And then I turned 4.
And then I was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Her name was Doris. No, anyway. No, I stay inspired. I just love what I do. I really love what I do. I'm sure you guys love what you do as well. We all love what we do, which is why we're here in the entertainment business. We love what we do. I love watching entertainment. I love making entertainment. But what really entertains me is to make entertainment. And I work with other people. I hire people that love to do it as well. And you have to love what you do. I always tell people, if you love what you do, it's not work. So I really tell people I haven't worked a day in 30 years. I love what I do. I say I'm going to work, but I'm really going to have fun because it's what I love to do.
Well, because if you left the house and you said, I'm going to go play, your wife would be like,
Exactly. Excuse me.
Can I go
you're
with
going to
you?
go
Exactly.
do what?
Exactly. But it's fun, but it's a challenge too because I got to fill a blank sheet of paper every day with something. And so, but I really stay inspired by. I watch a lot of comedy. I read comic books still. I go to movies. I mean, I love that. I love being entertained, and I really love to laugh. I love comedy big time. I'm sure you guys do as well. Like when I was growing up, I loved Happy Days. I loved I loved. I even like going back to the 70s. I loved Taxi, and I loved Cheers, and
So good.
yeah, exactly. And I love The Office right now. It's one of my favorite shows. The Office.
great show.
The Office is a great example. The Office is a great example of taking how strong characters matter because you have a show that takes place in an office.
Yeah.
There's nothing interesting about it, but it's what those characters do. What is Michael Scott going to do
Right.
today? What is Dwight
Right.
going to do today?
Yeah.
And that's what I think we try to do with Fairly Oddparents. I'm striving to make characters even to this day. You can take and put them in a white room, and they'll still get comedy out of it. We've done shows. Is the horn? messing you
Somebody's
guys up?
honking for you. out
Oh,
there.
guys,
I think your pizza's here.
Sorry, sorry.
You're getting the
I
cake.
think your car's getting
The
towed.
cake
I'm
is
sorry,
here.
Butch.
No, you know what? It's like putting those characters in a white room and being able to do anything with them is a lot of fun. And we've done episodes where we've turned the sound off. Timmy wishes there's too much noise, and Timmy wishes there was no noise. So we've done episodes where it's just pantomime with animation, and it works completely. We did one where the lights go out, and all we see are their eyes walking around blinking. But because you know who the characters are so well, Cosmo can just move his eyes, and you get a laugh out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's really building those strong characters that really. And every time you go see a movie, every time you go see any movie, if the characters aren't strong, you won't care. But like when I first saw Star Wars, oh, I'm Luke Skywalker. Oh, I'm Han Solo.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
root for them.
or Back to the Future, Marty, calm down. You like
Yeah.
the Doc. You're like, hey, Doc, you telling me that you built a time machine?
good.
Marty
Good.
McFly,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But you love
Yeah.
those characters. So I think if you get create great characters, that really makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
And then finding awesome voice talent to bring them to life.
Well,
it's really, really
How hard
good.
is that?
That is, that's the clincher, right?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
fact, so seriously,
Let's
I mean,
go there.
you've worked with, because you've worked with, you work with the top of the top.
Yeah.
But probably somewhere along the line, maybe you worked with people that are maybe not quite ready. right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So how do you define working with the top of the top for people out there that are trying to get to the top?
Because they had a first day. and a first
Absolutely.
year,
Everybody
too.
had a first
Yeah.
day.
Yep.
What is that little thing that you define, this guy's a pro and I want to work with that? This guy's not quite ready for this arena yet. What defines that?
That's a very good question. Sometimes people come in, you can get 7 pros in a row, and they're good. They come in and they're great. They knock
Yeah.
it out of the park. But sometimes it's that one guy who comes in, or girl, who comes in and just add that little something extra. And like, for example, Rob Paulsen. And I could give a million examples of other actors. I'm just using Rob Paulsen right now.
Yeah.
We had a character, and we still have a character on the show named Mark Chang. He's an alien. And this was season 1, show 2, episode 2 of Fairly Oddparents. We wrote this show called Spaced Out. Timmy wished for an alien. So I drew this alien with these tentacles and stuff. I'm like, what is this guy going to sound like? And we had literally 30 guys lined up to come in. I have no idea. And
to audition for.
So audition for the alien.
Yeah.
And so Rob comes in. He's the first guy in. Rob comes in and he goes, "Dudes, what's up?" And he does like this surfer dude, and it just killed us all in the room.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And the more he would say, the funnier it was. He would say anything. "Can I have some toast?" And it would just make us laugh.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that's him. That's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I had to sit through 29 other guys. And they were great guys, and they were good, but they didn't make me laugh like Rob did. And because of Rob's bringing that in, we can write for that character now. By the way, a word to the wise out there: bring a voice that makes the writer's job a lot easier. Let us have a good time with your voice. Bring something that we can write for, because we're going to be sitting back there trying to think of stories. But I know if Rob, even Jerry Trainer's another example, and again, I could use a million people. All my voice friends are going to get mad. I'm not using them. But Jerry Trainer, who was on iCarly, he was a live action actor. Came in and auditioned for T.U.F.F Puppy. And he just kind of did his own voice, but Jerry yells and screams a lot, but he's just hilarious in his natural delivery. And he was so funny, we gave him this part, and he was just so easy to write for. And so it's like, wow, that's the guy we're going to use.
Yeah.
And we auditioned a bunch of actors for that role, and they were, again, all really great.
Yeah.
But Jerry just made us laugh. Usually for me, it's who makes me laugh the most that I'll bring. And Carlos Alizraki from Mr. Crocker, he was funny. He came in because Mr. Crocker kind of talks like this. "Hello, Turner." He kind of does that kind of a voice, right? Years ago, when Carlos, again, we were auditioning for Mr. Crocker. What's this guy going to sound like? Crocker comes in, Carlos comes in. He goes, "I was thinking a little bit of Richard Dreyfuss, like this." And then he kind of added a little Gene Wilder in there with Willy Wonka, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And he kind of mixed them both in there, and he got Mr. Crocker, and he kind of came up with his voice, and it was really funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is a dynamite choice. And if you can make a dynamite choice and just sell it, that's really what defines you. I know a lot of people are out there and they think, oh, I can do voices, and you probably can. You're probably better than the guy next door or your brother or your sister, but get ready to play with the big boys. And I'm just saying, I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but be ready when you come out here.
Sure.
It's tricky and it's hard, especially when you get behind that microphone. Because I do voices too, and I'm pretty good. But when I get behind that microphone, it's really nerve-wracking because you can't use your face. You can't. You can move your body and stuff, but you really aren't depending on that. It's all about the voice.
Right.
And I'll tell people they're up here with the energy, and I go bigger, and they go bigger, and I go. I go
Way
bigger.
bigger.
I go bigger.
Yeah.
And make it bigger. And then they'll finally get there. And I do line reads for people all the time. I go, no, because the other thing too, voice actors sometimes they don't like is I give them line reads.
I think it's great.
I know voice actors that love line reads because they can be gone a lot sooner.
Exactly. But you know what? That's smart because I've been working on the script with my writers for 2 months.
You know what you want.
We know exactly, this joke is going to work if you sell it like this and you do this. And especially if I know that Cosmo's going to talk like this and Juana's going to talk, because I've worked with them for years, they're going to talk like this. You need to do it this way or it's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
And sure enough, if they don't do it that way, I'll let them try it 2 or 3 times. And I go, okay, can we stop playing around now and let's do it? I always have a little fun with them. Like, can we do it with talent now? Can we do it with, can you bring some acting in there now, please? Yeah, so my voiceover friends, they love me. So, yeah. But that's, did I answer the question?
You're a benevolent dictator.
Benevolent, exactly. I'm firm but fair.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I yell with a smile.
Absolutely.
But you know what, I guess what it is when you want to come in, just commit to it. Come in with a choice, for sure, and really do your best. Just do your best. I hate to say this, and it's the direction I can't stand the most, is just have fun with it.
Yeah.
You know, I hate saying when people say that because they don't know what to say, but have fun. So I'll have fun. If you come in and you're nervous and you've never really done this before, it makes me nervous.
You're going to feel that. You're going to be like, whoa.
It's like a stand-up comic. He goes up on stage, and he's got great jokes, but he's really nervous, and you get really nervous.
Yeah.
But the next guy comes out, same jokes, confident, cool, and just
Then you
destroys.
laugh. You don't hackle him.
What are some of the challenges that you face on your side of the equation? You know, people always make it about the actor and the work, but for you, I mean, there's high stakes and pressure and expectations. What are some things that kind of you deal with?
You mean as like a show creator? And
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously the main thing, the big pressure, and it's not really pressure to me because I enjoy it. Like I said, it's fun. It's keeping the show going, and that's the biggest pressure because you have a staff of people. because I just thought it would be just me in a room doing cartoons, but no, they want them at a certain time and a certain amount of episodes, so you need lots of people. And I have a fantastic staff of people. I have amazing artists, amazing writers, obviously great voice actors, so that makes it easy there. But it is always keeping people employed. My main concern is to keep my staff going, keeping people employed, myself as well. So, you know, you want to create a show that people will like, and that's the tricky part. It's like, we have to write a show that we like, number one, and number two, it's got to make other people laugh. You know, if we laugh, they laugh. One of my biggest compliments I've been getting a lot lately, because the show's been on so long, almost 15 years. Kids have grown up with the show. Yeah. They started watching it when they were 10. Now there's jokes they get that they didn't get when they were 10. Because we have a few more adult jokes, nothing dirty or filthy, but there's jokes like about the IRS and about, you know, getting married.
That's pretty filthy, right?
Yeah,
there.
well,
that's
it is. That's
just dirty, Butch.
Bad stuff, I know. But we did a joke once, I think, where Timmy gets all muscular on the beach, and every time he touches something, it breaks. And he goes, "Guys, I'm huge and I'm hurting people." And someone said, "Just like Dr. Phil." You know, so that's a joke that you wouldn't get as a 10-year-old.
Right. That's so great.
But kids, I think, but people are. It's kind of cool because the kids that have grown up with the show are like running game shows now. So we see Fairly Oddparents as a question on game shows now, and. People, I get comments all the time on Facebook and online that they thank me for their childhood, and it's really an honor that they grew up watching the show and really like it. But one of the biggest pressures, I think, is keeping the show going and keeping it fresh. You know what? We're introducing this new character, and people go. You get lots of comments like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you ruining the show?" It's like, we're not ruining the show, man. We're trying to enhance the show and keep the show fresh, so people who've already watched it can maybe see something new. There's that, and then. You do one show for a while, you want to do something else and do a new show, and so you're trying to come up with new ideas. And the network will say, "Can you come up with a show in this area or this area?" So there's some pressure there. And then, you know, it's just keeping it funny, keeping it fresh.
I had read something where you had said, and I'm, you know, because there's a lot of people, including us, you produce your own content and you create vehicles, which is a wonderful thing. But for people out there watching, you had said something, and I'm paraphrasing, that you know, don't throw away any of your ideas because it's about the timing. Yeah. Did you say that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
if I didn't say it, I wish I had said it. No, but I've said that to numbers of people. Yeah.
Do you want to explain kind of expand on what you meant by that?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things we're going to talk about very soon is a venture that I just started, an app I just launched, and that all came about because I didn't throw any ideas away. I mean, you might have an idea that is just great, and you know it's great, and you walk into a studio like Nickelodeon or Warner Brothers or Disney or whatever, and they love the idea, but they can't buy it right now because they bought something else very similar. You know, like if the network's running 4 or 5 karate shows, don't come in with a karate show. They're probably not going to buy another karate show. You might have the best karate show of all time, but just it's not time right now. It all does come down to timing. But the only way you're going to figure out what the timing is if you're persistent. I always tell people I have 3 Ps. There's passion, patience, and persistence. And it's the passion to know what you want to do, the patience to stick with it, and just persistence, which also goes in with patience. But just be persistent. Don't quit. Because like I said, those ideas are money in the... If you have something done and finished, it is money in the bank. I've written entire screenplays that have not sold. And then a very wise screenwriter I worked with once just said, "Hey, keep it because it's money in the bank." And I did, and I sold it again a year later. You know, I sold it a year later. So things will come around. Just wait for that, but you're not going to know the timing if you give up.
Exactly.
You know,
Love that.
and just like you guys starting your show here, all of this, you know, no one came to you and started this. You started it. Now it's a big success.
Yeah. Well, no, because we had said we would still be waiting if we wait. I mean, if you look back at our first year, it was like a yard sale. The set looked like a yard sale. It was like, and the chair was up here, and the couch was here, and everyone kept saying, "Gosh, Jess Harnell seems so tall." It's like, you know, because we're like down
really high,
here,
so we were really low.
Jesse's
so all the
all the way up
guests look super tall.
He actually is very tall. He's a huge
is tall,
man.
but I mean, he looks like a glamazon. And so, you know, but we said we'd still be
Did
waiting.
you say glamazon?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. That's great. I love that.
You know, we'd still be waiting if we were waiting for every single thing to be perfect, and you can wait your whole life away and your dreams away.
It is creating your own opportunities, and then once that opportunity is created and you're actually able to make something work, then people will come to you because they'll always come to you. If something's proven, they'll always come to you. You know what I mean? But it's getting that first thing done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a quick one for you. And this is just slightly off topic of something you were talking to before. You said you were working. I forget the company you said, but you got really good at knowing how to pitch.
Yeah.
A show.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Ruby Spears?
Ruby Spears,
exactly. So in a nutshell, what are the important things about pitching a show? Because I know a lot of people out there have great ideas and maybe have written content. Like, how do I even go about what are the important aspects of pitching a show?
Well, okay, that's a very good question. All these great questions, and I hope I can answer them all quickly and in an entertaining way, of course.
Yeah, well, we're entertained, so you're good there.
Okay,
There's
good.
no time. You take your time because
Okay,
there are
no,
time restraints here.
Pitching a show is a very different animal than working on a show. Working on a show, you become a worker on the show, and you might have amazing talent. There's some, again, I have some amazing artists, and they're very good at what they do. But it takes a different animal to actually pitch a show because you have to know how to kind of do a little bit of everything. Having a concept is great. If you have a concept, that's awesome. But then you got to go where the people are buying the concepts. Like if you're in Missouri. There's no slam on Missouri, I'm just using that as a state. If you're in Missouri, if you're in Montana, you want to work in Hollywood, you need to come to Hollywood. You need to be here. You need to come here. But I don't want to go there. Then you're probably not going to sell anything.
Go-to meeting is not going to work.
Yeah, it's not going to work, exactly. It's like, well, I'm afraid to leave home. Then, you know, there's people that aren't afraid to leave home that are going to sell things, you know. And so that's number one, getting to where people are buying stuff. And then secondly, getting up there and being brave enough to walk into an office and pitch your show to somebody. I always tell people it's very hard to be an artist because the second you hang a picture on the wall, people can start critiquing it. The second you hang it up. It's not like a script where you lay it on a table and all the scripts look the same. They're all in white paper with and it's not until you start reading it. But a picture, instantaneously. So when you're pitching a show, the minute you put yourself out there, people can start critiquing it. And that takes a lot for people to get up and do that. A lot. So it's having an idea, number one, having no fear to go out and sell it, and then going into the office, having no fear there, and then being confident and committing to your idea. But have all the questions answered, I always say. My show's about a cat that solves crime underwater. Well, great, what's the cat's name? I don't know. What's he look like? I don't know. How is this funny? I don't really know. Don't do that. You know, walk in with a name. Walk in with give me a sheet of give me a drawing, at least a drawing. You're pitching a cartoon. Walk in with a drawing. I can't draw. Find somebody who can draw.
So when you pitched Fairly Oddparents, do you remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so was it your first pitch that you sold it, or did you have to do many pitches of it before you sold it?
It was interesting. I was working at Hanna-Barbera at the time, at Cartoon Network, because the Cartoon Network had bought Hanna-Barbera. And Fred Seibert, who worked at Hanna-Barbera, then he went to Nickelodeon, and he said, he goes, I'm starting this new show. It's called the Oh Yeah Cartoon Show. And what I'm doing, is Fred talking, what I'm doing is I'm getting a bunch of guys who create cartoons, and whenever you watch the Oh Yeah show, you're going to see 3 original cartoons every half hour, made by 3 different guys, or girls, or whoever. And so, people, we'll just say people. People, 3 different people. And so he had like 2 or 3 slots left. He goes, do you have any ideas? I said, well, I don't really have anything. And then hung up the phone and found out we were getting fired off Johnny Bravo. Seth and I were getting fired. Everybody else was getting fired because they were done with Johnny Bravo. So we thought, okay.
Most successful firing ever.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? I'm going to think of my own show right now. Fred wants a show. I'm going to think of one. So I sat down and I'm like, what's a cool idea for a show? First thing I thought of, I wanted to come up with a story where I could move the main character from place to place real fast. I didn't want to have to be stuck, like he gets on a bus or he gets on a train, he just pops there. I thought, okay, popping back. I thought, okay, I could have him teleport, like Science. But Dexter's Laboratory was already a show, so I couldn't do Science. So I thought magic would be kind of cool. And I thought of magic, and I thought, okay, that's kind of, okay, he's a little boy with magic powers. Does he have the magic? Maybe his friend. I thought maybe I'll give his friend the magic because like it'll be more limiting for him. He doesn't have access to it all the time. So I gave him. I thought Cinderella's kind of cool. I'll give him like a fairy godmother. So I came up with Wanda, and then I'd never seen a fairy godfather before, and so I came up with Cosmo, who was like this idiot, husband. And that's kind of where I drew. That took about 15 minutes. I was sitting there drawing this, and I drew my Timmy Turner. I named after my brother Timmy. He's named after my brother. And then I thought it'd be cool to have a villain in the room, some villain who is always there, but again, not there all the time, but comes in and out, so I thought a babysitter would be fun. So I came up with Vicky, the babysitter. And I thought, hey, it's really cool if these fairies, because kids love to have secrets, they could turn into stuff when the parents are around, they could pop into things. So I thought, oh, they could be his pet, like what kind of pet? Okay, I thought fish would be fun. Fishbowl, so I made the fishbowl. And really, it was really like 15 minutes I had these 2 or 3 drawings.
Wow.
And I pitched it to Cartoon Network, and they said no. I said, thanks anyway. And then I called Fred, and I said, hey, I have this idea. I got those slots left. And Fred said, sure. So I came over to the Oh Yeah Cartoon Show and did the first pilot for Nickelodeon in 1998. And they liked it. They let me do 10 more short cartoons. And then they took about 6 of those and ran them by a focus group. And then in 2001, we launched the series. So yeah, so pitching it, you sometimes you get turned down, but like I said, don't throw the idea away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, don't throw it away.
So you have T.U.F.F Puppy, Danny Phantom. Okay, so if you have multiple shows, I mean, you're that rare breed that has multiple shows going on
Rare
simultaneously.
breed of human.
Of human being, human
yes.
species, yes. Yes.
How do you keep everything straight in your creative mind that you're not, oh wait, I'm over here and
You know what's funny?
feeding them.
People ask me that. It's no problem for me. I enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoy it so much. I've been doing 2 shows at once for a long time, for like 6, 7 years. We were doing Fairly Oddparents and Danny Phantom for a while, and then I was doing Fairly Oddparents and T.U.F.F Puppy for a while. I don't know, it kind of comes natural. I like doing a lot, so I don't mind juggling things, going back and forth. Again, having a super talented staff around me really helps.
Yeah.
I can delegate to people. It's really awesome. But it's just, like I said, just really fun. Like I love doing Danny Phantom because that was way different than Fairly Oddparents in many ways. It was a half-hour story. Fairly Oddparents is 2 11-minute stories. Danny Phantom had 5 fingers. Fairly Oddparents only has 4. That's a huge difference. But Danny Phantom was like kind of a more serious show. It was serious first with a little comedy thrown in, like a comic book, which was fun because it was a superhero for me. That was fun. And so that was a real challenge. And really, I had a whole different set of storyboard artists too. These are guys who really drew comic book stuff really well, whereas Fairly Oddparents, they drew more comic strippy, cartoony stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so there's that. But again, I guess I'm just a glutton for just taking a lot on. I just love doing it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And having people that keep me straight, like good line producers and good production people helps a lot too.
I love delegating.
Oh yes. Yes.
And you are probably very good at it.
Yeah, well, we tried.
That is so cool, man. Well, let's talk about Noog.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you
Can we
very
do
much.
that?
Yes,
Network.
I have a card too.
He has a card too. Let's talk about Noog.
Noog. This is the
Noog.
Noog.
The Noog Network.
Yeah.
Noog.
It's brand new, and I have these little cards. This is our
So
this is our marketing campaign.
NewNetwork.com.
Yep.
There's probably a little banner right about here right
Yes.
now,
Yeah.
so you can see how it's
And
spelled.
you can get the app, the free app.
The free app. It's on the App
So
Store for
great.
iPhone right now.
Tell us about Noog, how you came up with it, what is it, why it came into existence, and what you feel is going to do for kids and parents and whoever becomes a part.
Well, very cool. Well, first of all, thanks for asking me.
Absolutely. Man.
No, you know what? The Noog Network is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to have my own channel or my own network, and I thought, because you probably have surmised by now, I like to do a lot of things.
Yes.
And to me, doing 1 or 2 shows just wasn't enough. I've always wanted to do more. And the big networks, it's challenging for them because they can't give all their shows to one person. They've got to get other creators, and I completely get that. So I always knew that in order to do all the things I want to do, I have to do them myself. So I thought, well, okay, I want to do my own shows, but where can I do them? Do I do them on YouTube? If I put them on YouTube, they're going to look like everything else. It looked like the YouTube format. Nothing against YouTube, but I want mine to stand out a little bit more. So I thought I'll make my own YouTube. So I make my own little Disneyland. How do I do this? Okay, I'll do that. But what's jumped out at me, someone suggested I do an app. I thought, an app would be really cool because that way it's kind of my own private little world. And I can put my content on there. You can see it there for sure. It's the only place you can see it. And okay, so we'll start there. So then I had to create the app. What kind of a world is it going to be?
And that's a whole other
that was a whole side project.
fun little week of your life.
Yeah, a little week of my life.
Week
But
times.
It was about 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
But I had to create the world, and I wanted the kids to have an interactive experience. I just didn't want you to come on and just watch stuff. I wanted you to have a character that could be your own and guide you around.
Right.
So I came up with these little characters called Noogs. You can look them up.
Noogs.
Yeah, they're all
They're
called
so
Noogs.
cute.
There's all different kinds. When you go on the Noog Network now, you're going to get, when you sign on, you get a free Noog. You have a choice between a red, a yellow, or a blue one. Pick whatever one you want. That's your free one. And then you go on, and every time you watch a show, you get points. You get Noog nickels, I call them. And so you get there's a couple of free shows you can earn the nickels with, but then after that, you got the other shows. Like I have one live action series that the
Are
first.
these called Nougats? You get Nougats?
Not yet.
Nougats?
No,
Okay.
maybe. You never know.
Oh, is that the sci-fi one? The sci-fi live action?
Yeah, it's called Zach 2.0.
No, that looks cool. cool.
Oh, thank you. That's my live action teen drama with a twist. It's got a little sci-fi action going on. But I wanted that. You can watch the first 2 episodes for free, and then you got to pay for the other ones. Either by earning nickels, you can watch shows and earn nickels, or you can buy a pack of nickels.
Right.
That's how I earn a little bit of money.
Yeah.
So hey, just drop a few bucks there on Noog if you don't mind.
Yeah, don't be cheap.
Yeah, don't be cheap.
Right?
Support the arts.
Exactly.
Support your Noog.
But the cool thing is now I've got 6 cartoons on there now. I think by the time we air this, we'll have a few more. I've got a newscast hosted by a lady named Susie McNougal, and that's a live show. And Susie McNougal and Noog Dude, the superhero guy I've got on there. And I took them to Comic-Con this year. That was kind of fun. They were walking around. And then we have we're going to have a bunch of live action shows. I've got 3 new live action shows I'm launching between now and the end of the year. And I'm going to keep adding Noogs, the little characters. You can go in the store and buy new Noogs in there. They also cost points.
Yeah.
And every holiday I'll be adding a new Noog, like the Christmas Noog, the Halloween Noog. And we'll just keep adding things. It's going to be constantly growing. And the fun thing is I can think of it Monday and have it up by Friday. And that's the awesome part.
Well, that's all for part 1 with Butch Hartman, but you guys should just stay right where you are for a whole week. Just stay right there. Do not move, because we're going to come back next week with part 2.
I agree.
There you go.
And also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram while you're just sitting there. And you know what? We love you guys. Thanks so much for watching. And just remember,
You always have time for a little buzz.